Everybody, the Gav back in here on the show floor at E3 2010. I'm here with
John Eckersley.
John Eckersley, and we're checking out Fable 3 on the show floor. Now it's looking good here. We're going to be actually looking a lot at the new interface changes you're bringing to Fable 3. So why don't you walk me through it here? What can we expect different in Fable 3?
So we've tried to get rid of all the lists in Fable 3. No one likes lists. They're not cool. You don't want to have to go through a long list of stuff to try and find the weapon. So we tried to make everything visual instead. So you've got a dressing room, you've got an armory, a couple of other rooms. I don't want to spoil it. But on the press of a button, on start, you pop into your guild, and you can go and equip weapons by just going up to the wall and grabbing them, which is really cool. So if you want to get to an outfit, you walk up to your mannequin. You see your outfit on the mannequin, you grab it, and you're wearing it. It's much more simple than going through a long list of stuff. Yes, that's pretty much what we've done there. We've simplified the map. So in Fable 2, if you bought a house, you had to remember where the house was. If you wanted to put the rents up, it's a real pain. So we tried to simplify that by, you've got a 3D map of all the locations you've been to. It will show you all your property, all that kind of stuff. So that's made it a lot more simple. We've simplified the combat. So before, the spell system, you had to level them up and you had a quick select menu. We got rid of that. Now you have spell gauntlets. You go into your armory. You see your spell gauntlets on the wall, you grab them, you can put one of each on each arm, so you can twist two spells together. So you can have a fireball on one arm, a lightning spell on the other, and you'll combine a kind of a lightning fireball spell, which is pretty cool. You don't have to do that, you can just have a fireball. So that's another simplified thing we wanted to do. Yeah, I think that's the main crux of what we've done on Fable 3.
Fantastic. There's a lot of changes to expect here. We spoke a lot about the gameplay at the hub thing. Are we still traveling with the golden breadcrumb trail?
It's still there. You can still turn it off if you don't like it, but it's still there. Yeah, a lot of people liked it, so it's still there.
Dog's still there?
The dog is still there. We've got 3 breeds, but it's still there. I don't want to spoil anything when that happens, but yeah, he's still there.
Got to make sure. Pete a favorite for this for the game there. Okay, now we're hearing here you've made a major claim about having John Cleese in here. You've always had some top tier talent. Can you give us any more big names that are going to appear in Fable?
There's plenty of big names. So we've got John Cleese, who plays the butler. Anytime you pop into your guild, you'll speak to John Cleese. We've got Michael Fassbender. We've got Sir Ben Kingsley, who did Gandhi and Sexy Beasts. We've got Jonathan Ross, who's quite a big UK celebrity. We've got Bernard Hill, who did King Theoden in Lord of the Rings. We've got, who else? Oh, there's loads more. Stephen Fry, who's kind of big personality. We've got Simon Pegg, who recently did Star Trek. He's done Spaced and Shaun of the Dead. So yeah, a load of big names.
Excellent. So it's going to be great to hear just all the British talent that's coming in again. All right. So what about the town interaction, the interaction with the townspeople? Are we going to see any changes in sort of the UI and how do you select your interaction with them, or maybe with your family, something like that?
So we've tried to change that quite a bit. Before you had your expression wheel. Again, it was a bit complicated, a bit fiddly. Now you can walk up to absolutely anyone. You can interact with them at the press of a button, and you'll have a choice of icons that will float over their head. And immediately, it's a new thing we've called touch. You can interact with that person. In Fable 2, you could kind of like punch your hand in the air, and that was kind of it. And in Fable 3, you can grab somebody by the hand and lead them. If they don't like you, you can drag them. You can drag them to a poorhouse and force them to work. You can do other expressions, like you can shake their hand, you can dance with them, you can pat a cake with them, all kinds of stuff. So we really want to make you feel involved in the game and part of the world.
And that's probably going to be featuring Microsoft's new Kinect motion controller system.
The Kinect system is going to be supported. I can't say exactly what, but it will be in there.
All right. Excellent, but a lot of just basic touch interactions with everybody. That's awesome. Now in Fable 2, there's an achievement. You have to work really hard at it, but if you bought enough realty, you bought up pretty much everything in every town, you eventually become the king. But in Fable 3, it's part of the story. You eventually become the king, and you're going to make a lot of decisions that affect the entire endgame world of Albion. But there was a lot of fear when you first announced it that the game would sort of involve a more RTS element. So I wanted to ask you, how are you balancing the gameplay of kingmanship to the gameplay of action adventure going out and hack and slash?
So that was actually a big worry that the design team had. It was going to become too RTS-y. So you have, when you become king, and it does happen later in the game, you have to build up to the point. So when you start the game, your brother is the king. And the main part of the story to begin with is you trying to overthrow him by getting enough support to overthrow him. Then you become king, like you say, and you get to make rulings. Now, if you're a good king, you go back to the castle and you get to make those rulings. If you're a bad king, you don't have to. You don't have to make any rulings. And those rulings are based on promises that you've made throughout the game up to that point. Are you going to keep your promises, or are you going to break them? Are you going to be a good king, or are you going to be a bad king like your brother was? So it's more about key decisions that you've got each day. It's not RTS heavy, it's not stat heavy. You can dive in and out of it. It's really simple.
Good to hear, good to hear. We wouldn't want an overcomplication in the third game in the series, but looking at the world of Albion, it's gone through major changes in every game so far, and now it appears that from the dress we're almost in a colonial period here. We're several decades in the future. Tell us, what has happened in Albion since Fable 2?
Okay, so we've moved on about 60 years from Fable 2, and quite a few places will be kind of familiar if you've played the other Fable games. So we go back to Bowerstone at some point in the story. It's industrialized. It's kind of like the Industrial Revolution has happened. We've got kind of big workhouses, smoggy factories, so that's kind of moved on that side of things, definitely. We also showcase a new continent, which is called Aurora. We wanted it, Fable has been known for lush, green, arable land and kind of English countrysides and forest. We wanted to do that because people love that, but we want to mix it up a bit as well and throw a curveball at Aurora, which is desert. It's just completely different. It's alien, like a Bedouin kind of area. So that's something to expect later on in the game. Really exciting, really different.
Fantastic. Now, a new addition in Fable 2 was a job system. You were allowed to go out and get jobs like blacksmith, chopping wood, etc. Are there going to be any new mini games in that vein in Fable 3?
There are, definitely, yes.
Can you tell me any of them?
I don't think I can.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to trust you on that. I got to give you the benefit of a doubt. Okay. Last question then. When can we expect Fable 3 exclusively on PC and 360?
October 26th.
October 26th. Okay, thank you very much for talking to me. Fable 3, October 26th, PC and 360. If you want more interviews like this and footage from all over the show, go to elder-geek.com.